两家公司面临到相同的挑战，被迫要裁掉上千位的员工，但不一样的地方是他们用的方式还有给员工的这个感觉。那让我们来看看 Peloton 跟 Better.com 这两家公司的高阶主管是如何传递讯息的。Hello， 欢迎来到 Executive Plus 主管与沟通力的 Podcast。I'm Sherry, an educator, certified coach, and style enthusiast. 我相信专业有效的沟通是语言跟逻辑的完美结合。
And I'm Nick, a startup consultant, corporate trainer, and late-night gaming junkie. I believe great communication requires the right mindset and solid frameworks.
我们希望带给大家职场英语的技能、跨文化沟通技巧与其他能帮助您成为出色领导者的工具。
Join us each week as we share our experience, research, and methodologies to take your communication and language skills from good to great. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Executive Plus podcast. We're going to revisit a topic from an old episode talking about how to deliver bad news. But today, we're going to bring you an example of how to turn bad news into a rally cry and something very positive.
没错，那我们今天就是要来探讨一个文字跟你传递这个讯息给人的感觉。因为我觉得我们常常在讲到communication 的时候，我们会着重在这个文字啊、句子啊，你用什么字等等。那我们会忽略这种感觉，这种 feeling。那我在做 research 的时候 I came across Matt Abraham and he's the professor at Stanford Graduate School of Business. 那大家都知道这个是数一数二 top 的 MBA 学校。他就有讲说，当你在做你的沟通的时候，不管是 email、会议、conference call、presentation 都好，你一定要想三件事情，也就是 what you want people to know。OK， 那这个是我们常常会讲到的嘛 ，what。那第二个就是 how do you want people to feel？ 那再来才是 what do you want them to do？ So 第三个才是我们所讲到的 action。So how do you want people to feel? This is also incredibly crucial.
Yeah, this is a big step that a lot of people skip. So when Presentality developed our own methodology, the core methodology, the first C of core was connect. And we actually spend a lot of time on getting people to answer this question because most people just think about what do I want to say and what do I want people to do? You know, you get a lot of advice online about call to action. You have to have a call to action. But very few people have a discussion about what does it mean? What do I want people to feel? How do I want them to walk away? Do I want them to be excited? Do I want them to be inspired? Do I want them to take it seriously? And this is true across your emails, your copywriting, even like the tone of your website. So here in Taiwan, a lot of big companies' websites are actually really depressing. And it's not that their product is depressing and their message depressing, but it's like the color scheme and the design doesn't give you a strong feeling of innovation, a strong feeling of trust. It's just like someone did whatever. So that feeling becomes really important. And in this case, when you're giving bad news, the two cases we'll look at today are Peloton. It's a new CEO wrote an email to the entire company right after about 2,800 people in the company were let go. And then if you remember back in episode 136, we talked about the Better.com CEO letting go of 900 people over a Zoom call on how much backlash and how much anger people had towards that. And in fact, with the Peloton situation, the outcome's worse. You let go of almost 3,000 people, but the tone of the message and the type of responsibility gives you a very different feeling than before.
那我这边稍微给大家一点点 background information。我觉得 Peloton 可能在台湾还没有那么的有名，因为尤其是 COVID 的那个时候，他们整个是爆红，因为大家在国外他们不能够去健身房，所以他们每家里面很多人人就有一台 Peloton， 就是跑步机 right? And 而且他们还有那种 lesson. I think they have like a built-in lesson.
Classes on demand from top spin cycle instructors.
Right. So 但是 Peloton 因为 我们可能现在疫情大家比较好了，有 vaccination， 大家开始回到以前的生活，突然间他们就面临很大的挑战。So they replaced their CEO, right?
Yeah, their CEO is not gone. He stepped down. He's now the chairman of the board. He also has like a higher position in the company, but they replaced him with a veteran CXO. This will only be one of the times that the new CEO, Barry McCarthy, is the CEO. He's been the CEO of smaller companies, but he was formerly the CFO of Netflix. He was actually the person who created Netflix's subscription model. He was also the CFO of Spotify. He's the one who took Spotify public, and he was also the head of Spotify's advertising content.
Yeah.
So this is a true veteran and very, very well-respected person in the field.
也听说他是一个非常厉害的角色，他通常把一个公司可能快要在边缘的公司，然后突然间就可以把他们变成一个非常家喻户晓。其实 I have Netflix, I have Spotify, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do as well. 但我们今天最主要是来看这位 CFO， 之前的 CFO， 现在的 CEO Barry McCarthy 他所写的一封 email， 而且是他给所有员工。那因为了这个裁员，他就写了一封 email 给这些就是 Peloton 所有的员工。那我们就把它其中的几段我们就把它截下来，尤其是在他在讲这个很不好的消息 like 我们所谓的 bad news, 也就是裁员，为什么裁员，他们碰到什么的状况。那他在形容这一些事情的时候，他给这种看的读者的感受是非常不同的。
So Barry's email has a really powerful section where he talks about the realness of this problem. And he goes, I know today's restructuring news has been difficult. There's no sugarcoating it. It's a bitter pill, and in my experience, the sting has a long half-life. But the hard truth is, either revenue has to grow faster or spending had to shrink. The math simply didn't work otherwise, and the status quo was unsustainable. One of my core management principles is about getting real. We have to be willing to confront the world as it is, not as we want it to be if we're going to be successful. We have to be honest with ourselves and with each other in order to make that happen, even when the truth is uncomfortable or inconvenient to deal with. And now that reset button has been pushed. The challenge ahead of us is this. Do we squander the opportunity in front of us, or do we engineer the great comeback story of the post-COVID era? I'm here for the comeback story, and here's why I think we can pull it off.
我觉得我蛮喜欢他对于这整件事情没有在做一些 sugarcoating, it is what it is. 他也讲过 there's no sugarcoating. 那 sugarcoating 可能就是好像在东西上面加上一个糖霜，也就是把事情美化，所以他并没有美化这件事情。这个 it sucks, right? 我们必须要重新的 reset. 那我们也必须得裁员那么多的员工。It's terrible. 但是我们可以怎么从这个经验来起死回生啦。That when he talk about that comeback story. 所以有点就是 he really knows how to like raise the morale. You feel like he's at war. So as a wartime CEO, he's been through a lot, right? 他之前在 Netflix, 他之前在 Spotify, 他现在在 Peloton, 他可以有点是那种大家好像已经感到被战败的感觉。他怎么样让这些人好像在看那个电影，没有让这些人能够 rally up and feel more excited and come alive, go for that comeback story.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that big movie speech at the climax where the general's standing on the hill and trying to get everyone
thinking about,
to push
is it
through.
Braveheart?
Yeah, Braveheart, right? And you brought that up, wartime CEO. He was actually a wartime CFO again. But the reason why this becomes very powerful is his backstory is not he ran very successful companies. When he joins Netflix is about 2 months from closing its doors forever. They're still doing pay as you rent DVDs. He's the guy who turns it into a subscription service. And he's also the guy that helps build the business model for them to create subscription content and their own content. Same with Spotify. He goes into Spotify. They're struggling. They're not doing great. He's the guy who turns it around. So when he walks into Peloton, this is not just someone being like, again, we're talking like, cheer up. It will be okay. We'll do it. He's the guy who comes in and goes, this is bad. But I'm here because this is a great company and we're going to make it that way.
所以听完我觉得如果我们想一下 how does it make you feel? I think for me, it definitely feels very reassuring. Like even though things are bad, but it will be okay. And I feel the sense of confidence, it's real, it's no bullshit, and we're ready.
You know, quickly to recap and contrast this to the better.com, his message sounds like, oh, I come to you with not great news. It's been a challenging year. I had to do this twice in my career and I cried. I hope to be stronger. And he's like, well, the market has changed and we had to move on to survive. I wish the news was different. I wish we were thriving.
Yeah.
Right? It's it's not confident. It's difficult, and I can understand the better.com CEO's position was difficult, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And also 这一位 better.com 的 CEO 之前我们有讲过嘛，他并没有去讲说他做了哪一些事情来预防这件事情会发生 or what he tried previously in order to avoid this mass firing. He didn't talk about any of that. He just quickly go into, you guys will not be part of the better.com and you're going to get an email from the HR. And that's it.
Yeah, that responsibility, again, he kind of moved. It's like HR's problem to deal with you now. But also it's just like, oh, it's the market's fault. Now, again, the Barry McCarthy does bring up the market, that the math didn't work out. But you don't get a sense of like, it's the market's fault. Oh, our users didn't. It's like they previously misprojected. And then he actually very much gets into accountability. In the middle of his email, he actually says, winning, in my experience, starts with accountability. Me to you, you to me, and you to each other. We sink or we swim as a team. So he actually goes on from that. But he talks a long time about accountability. This is not just like, oh, the former CEO did a garbage job and I'm here to clean up. He's like, we're all going to take responsibility for this. And that's how we're going to turn it around.
Right, yeah. 当然我们听到这个 better.com 这 CEO 所讲的这些话，你会感觉到他有一点 aloof, especially when he said 我这件事情我好像2次的经验，第一次我哭，这次我会更强更坚强。我想说
yeah, no one cares
I
about
don't
you.
care if you cry or not. Like you just feel like he's really aloof. Like he's not with the employee. He's above the employee. And you don't feel like he's taking responsibility. You don't feel like he's that accountability. He's not taking that at all.
And it's again, he's trying to like create sympathy for himself. In our better.com episode, we said, get to the point as part of your bad news structure. Now, interestingly, Barry McCarthy does something where he doesn't get straight to the point. He actually talks about shout out to his favorite online instructors.
So.
And at first you think, that's a little weird. Why are you doing that?
The first thing in the email.
Yeah, especially. The first thing in the email. But again, what he's trying to show us is like, I am a part of your community. So when he says, we're in this together, it's not like I was just brought in. I don't know anything about what you do. I mean, the guy's 68 and he still rides Peloton daily. That's very impressive. But it's that building up this sense that I am with you. Whereas the better.com is like, you should feel bad for me.
And I think we understand 当你要这种大裁员，没有人会想要当坏脸 right? 没有想当黑脸啦 We don't want to be the bad guy in the situation. 但是如果我们去想一下 OK, 我们在做这 communication 之前，我们如果去想到说 What do we want people to know? How do we want people to feel? And what do you want them to do? 如果真的有想到这3点重要的这3点的话，我觉得 better.com 这位 CEO 可能就不会做出这样子的决定。Yeah, it's too bad. I think a lot of people's lives were definitely their livelihoods all of a sudden just kind of disappeared. But so how people feel from your language, 不管是读者还是听到的人，这个 feeling 真的是非常的重要。
Think about that carefully. If you want a breakdown of the full email, especially the language being used, the type of phrases that are helping build up this sense of we can do this together, rising to the challenge. Andrew actually put together a full breakdown of the email, which will be a special to subscribers of our new premium content. So we hope that you have marked your calendars for the launch date. And as part of being an early backer or an early joiner of our premium content, you will get a full breakdown of this email.
没错，所以记得我们在3月9号，我们的 EP 的 baby 就要诞生了，终于要诞生了。那只要你有 subscribe 是我们的订阅者的话，你可以得到一些非常不同的，比如说像这样子的 content Peloton， 那这是 CFO 发出来的 email。那当然这种东西我们希望能够在事情发生大概2个礼拜中，我们就能够把它做 full analysis， right？ 然后还有提供给大家这些很好的一些 lessons， 因为这个是也算是一个新闻的一种，我们必须要在时间抓紧这个时间 ，so 这个我们就会提供给我们的 subscribers. Really hope you guys looking forward to that.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye. The Executive Plus podcast is a Presentality Group production, produced and hosted by Sherry Fang and Nick Howard. You can search us on Facebook, 主管英文 Executive Plus. You can also find us on Instagram, Communication R&D, and email us at sherry@epstyleplus.com.